Okay, class, it's Mr. Collins, Ms. Mackenzie's student teacher, and she asked me to put together some lessons this week on some math concepts that we had planned to cover this spring. Specifically, we're going to talk about the idea of some statistical things, the mean, the median, the mode, and the range. And don't let those words scare you. These are pretty easy concepts once you have a chance to look at them, and we're only going to do them one at a time. By the way, a little bit of trivia. My daughter was a student at Candy Lane years ago in the bilingual program, and she had a math teacher named Mr. Sweeten. And she learned all about la media, la mediana, la moda, and el rango. And I think in Spanish, actually, the words media and mediana look similar. So mean and median don't look quite the same, but they're similar concepts and they're related to each other, but they're also very different. Again, don't let the vocabulary disturb you. This is all going to be fine. By the way, if you have not done the little 2-point video assignment that says try this on Google Classroom, please stop this video right now and go back and do that, because that's a simple thing to make sure that you are understanding how to use Edpuzzle. So the mean, we think about mean as you were mean to me, or why are you using mean words? Mean mathematically is a way of organizing information. And really mathematics is about communication. It's communicating ideas, it's communicating information. Let me give you a really practical application. Let's say I have two college students, Vu and Pilar. And Pilar has a job at the school library where she goes to the library for a little while each day and puts away books that have been returned. And it's good money and it's not a lot of hours each day. And Vu is curious about this. And so Vu says, well, how much do you work each day? Now, it's possible that Pilar has in her pocket her schedule of all of the hours that she's worked for the past 2 weeks. And she could pull that out and read them off or let Vu read them all off. But it would be nice if Pilar could take all that information and can condense it into something simple. And as you look at the list, about how many hours does Pilar work every day? Pilar seems to work a lot of different types of hours, but on average, how often does Pilar work? By the way, as a teacher, I kind of cheated, and I just put in a formula for this in the spreadsheet. And the formula is not mean. In the spreadsheet, it asks you to put in average. And that's actually what the word mean means. It means the average. Let's take another practical example. Let's say there are 5 people going on a backpacking trip, and they have 25 pounds of food to carry for their 3-day trip. On average, how much is each person going to carry? Now, it might be that we have backpackers that are of varying sizes and strengths and ability, and maybe they don't all carry the same amount. Maybe the biggest backpacker carries 8 pounds and the smallest backpacker only carries 2. And nobody actually carries 5 pounds of food. But that is the average amount of food that each person is carrying. I hope that's helpful for you. Mathematically, the way we calculate the mean, the way we calculate the average, is we take the total of all the values and then we divide that by the number of values. So if I go back to our backpacking example, if I take the sum of 8 and 2 and 6 and 6 and 3, and I divide that by the number of values, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values, that gives me 25 divided by 5, which gives us an average of 5 pounds that each person is carrying. So again, it's not telling us exactly what each person's carrying, but it's telling us on average among these people how much is each of them carrying. we can do this with even a small number set. We can do this with just two numbers. And when we do it with two numbers, we come up with something very, very interesting. So if I take the sum of 10 plus 2, and I divide it by the number of values, there's two values, then I come up with a mean of 6. If I look at this on a number line, it makes it a little more interesting. The two numbers that we're trying to find the average of, the two numbers we're trying to find the mean of, are 2 and 10. And the mean, the average, is 6. And on a number line, you'll notice that 6 is 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers away from 2. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers away from 10. So it's evenly equidistant from the two numbers. And even when we take the mean of a lot of numbers, that's kind of what we're doing. We're looking for what number is kind of in the middle of all of those numbers. But again, when we do it with just two numbers, it seems really simple to see that concept. So we're going to do three different sets. The first one's going to have four numbers in it: 6, 11, 14, and 9. It is totally fine to use a calculator for this. Our second set of numbers, 12, 2, 8, 4, 3, and 7. Let's count them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then our last set of numbers is also going to have 6 values. And just for fun, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't forget the little 8 here hiding in my picture-in-picture box. By the way, statistics say if you have the little picture-in-picture, it's helpful for students to pay attention. I don't know, I feel weird having myself down in the corner. You can always take a Post-it note and stick it over my face if you would like to avoid looking at me. And I'll try to make sure not to put things in the picture-in-picture. So then the question comes up, when are we ever going to use this? Well, again, this is a way to communicate information. It's a way to analyze numbers. So you might know that Ms. McKenzie is a mentor teacher, that she actually works with teachers of all grade levels, first grade, kindergarten, 9th grade, 12th grade, and helps mentor them as teachers in the Oregon City School District. And let's say she has two teachers who are teaching the same subject. They each have 25 students. They teach the same material and give the same tests to their students. And they each report to Ms. McKenzie, and it turns out that Ms. J, her students earned an average score of 79.5%. And Mr. K, right above my head here, his students earned an average score of 78.5%. And you might be tempted to say, well, Ms. J is obviously a little bit better teacher, or maybe her students were a little sharper, but really those two teachers are pretty close to each other. All their students are a little bit above average. They're kind of in a high C+ or low B- range. But it turns out that if you look at other statistics besides just the mean, besides the average, you get a lot more information. And I'm going to leave that for tomorrow when we talk about the median.